Hello, this is a very quick tour of data visualization at Environment and Climate Change Canada. I'm going to show an Android game made with Unity 3D, in-house use of Python's matplotlib and other graphing tools, and open source platforms like Grafana, Prometheus, and Elk. So I'm a senior scientific programmer at Environment Canada, and I work on the supercomputer in operations to keep the weather forecast simulations running. So first we have Radio Sound Can, which is an Android game. It's open source, so you can look at the source code, and it's on Google Play and you can install and play it. This was developed for Environment Canada hiring events, so we would have something to show on a tablet, and it uses real wind data. Those are all little arrows based on a real day. I think June 2019 is when I grabbed it. And this was a Unity 3D C# project. We also use Grafana and Prometheus, and for the next couple weeks you can visit this too and make your own dashboards. This has real live data from our supercomputer systems. That's why some of these numbers are so big, like tens of millions of files or terabytes and terabytes every day. The only difference is because this is public, a lot of stuff is masked, so it won't give a specific username or path or machine name. It says machine 12 or username 123, but it's all real data. So for example, this on the left, biggest inode % used. Different groups and different file sets have rules for how much they can have, and this is a percentage. You can kind of see a pulse every day where files are generated and then moved somewhere else and then cleaned up. So you can see these top two are at about 70 or 80%. And there's a lot of other dashboards here, and if you're wondering about them, you can just ask me. So this setup has three components. There's Deucalion, Prometheus, and Grafana. Grafana is pretty well what you see, the graphs, so that will be visualizing anything. It doesn't have to visualize this kind of data. It could connect to any other database, but in this case it's connected to a Prometheus database, and that specializes in grabbing metrics, say maybe every minute. And Deucalion is all the Python scripts that I've written that kind of connects to all of our custom Environment Canada logs and data and transforms it into the data that Prometheus can understand. Finally, if we go into configuration data sources, we see we've only added Prometheus, but there's many others that we might add. So it wasn't always the case that Grafana even existed. So here's an older example that we still use today. With PHP, this graph is generated to show our CPU usage. And on the left, it's pretty amazing. You see like 22,000 CPU, 30,000 CPU. And you see peaks because, for example, maybe at 12 at noon, we'll decide we're going to stop collecting weather measurements around the world and we're going to start our next forecast simulation as fast as we can. So we have these peaks, but it also means we have big gaps where we're not using our resources, at least not for operations. Of course, government is very big, so we have different groups using different solutions for different problems. And here's an example of the Elk stack, just showing the usage of our systems by group or by queue. I've also seen lots of examples of matplotlib. For example, this is a colleague of mine made some efficiency measurements for the supercomputer. And my own recent visualization to show if jobs are running at the same time or not. So visualization doesn't always have to be pretty or permanent. Sometimes you just want to write something quick to demonstrate your logs. With matplotlib and Python, you are learning some long-term skills with open source software that you can continue to use for free for years, so I really recommend it. For example, if you have a skill that expires in a year, because maybe the business goes out of business or the business changes their software rules or how you can use it, then you're going to have to learn that new skill every year. And maybe you can only learn one skill a year. Well, now you have a maximum of one skill forever. If you learn skills that last 5 years and you learn one a year, well, you can add them up over time. So there's skills that I learned 5, 10, 15 years ago that I'm still using today that I don't need to relearn. So I have many, many more skills of things that I can do. And a big part of that is focusing on free and open source software. So thanks for watching this quick tour. If you're in the hackathon, good luck. I'll be available in chat. And again, for the next couple weeks, you can visit the public Grafana pages and even make your own dashboards. Just ask for a username. Thanks.